Well, we again have a very nice division of heifers in this run, and again, a little bit more variation in our class winners. We kind of had to give and take just a little bit here to find the ones that were structurally good enough and had enough volume and mass to them. You know, we're talking about older junior yearlings here, so got to have enough volume and capacity at this particular age to kind of feel comfortable that they're going to continue to be good kind of cow prospects. Boy, it just continues to be good, and I've enjoyed it, again, up to this point very, very much, and I think we've got a nice set of heifers. What do you say? Let's give them a very nice round of applause, and we'll get you a champion reserve. Thank you.
And your champion Division 6 Junior Yearling Female goes to entry 1053 KMEM Porsche ET, exhibited by Chloe Van Vliet from Iowa. Your Reserve Division 6 Champion Junior Yearling Female goes to entry 1060 Spaghetti Sophie, exhibited by Wyatt Dunklau from Nebraska. Congratulations to Cody, to Wyatt and Chloe. We are now moving into our last division of the day. Class 93, sponsored by the Iowa Maine-Anjou Association. As we near the conclusion of the Grand Fiesta, let's take this time to thank all of our volunteers for making this event happen, and our host state from Nebraska, the Nebraska Maine-Anjou Association. They had a lot of volunteers on hand to help all week, and I know Lindsay and Blake really appreciate all of their help, and all of the volunteers who have been on hand all week here in Grand Island to make this event happen. I can tell you that events like these do not come together without an army of people behind the scenes, so we appreciate each and every one of you who have stepped up and helped at whatever task it may be to make this the success that it was this week. So let's thank all of our volunteers and sponsors and everybody that came together to make the Grand Fiesta happen.
Well, as we get started here in our final division, these senior yearlings coming twos are good. This one's obviously the one that's right in her condition. Looks like she's got some calf in her belly. Her joints are good. She actually moves really good. She's going to be a little difficult to manage down in her feet. Her hind toes are a little longer and a little shallower than they need to be. But nonetheless, I think within this class, there's just nothing that can touch her in terms of rib and composition and type from that standpoint. Heifer in second, a little better from that regard in terms of foot size, more even toes. They probably come under a little nicer. She's long-bodied. She's got a good top line in her. Need to have a little more depth of rib for one at this stage of her life. She is a little bit off and down in her rear pastern a little bit in the way she moves, but compositions, again, very good in this one. Good length of body to her. Big, massive made one here in three. Little roachy in her top when she walks, probably carrying just a little more condition than she needs at this stage of her life. And our heifer in fourth is trimmer. She's got some shape to her top, but again, we just need to see a little more broodiness through the center part of her body. She as well needs to be a little different down in her toes. Good set of cattle. And again, my compliments to them. Thank you.
First place in this class goes to entry 1093, GOF Miss Style and Rose ET, exhibited by Abby Collins from Ohio. Second place to entry 1090, Fire's Baby Cake 12D, exhibited by Caden Stroop from Kansas. Third place to entry 1092, CMAC Do It All 693, exhibited by Wyatt Farthing from Oklahoma. And in fourth place, entry 1091, Elvira, exhibited by Strand Wagner from Oklahoma. We ended up splitting class 93, so this is 93B in the ring right now, and these heifers were born in September and July of 2016. After this, we will select our Division 7 champion and reserve champion senior yearlings.
Well, here in our second class of senior yearlings, a nice trio of females, and really a very nice one that wins this class. Very sound, very broody. I think her composition's really pretty nice for one at this stage of her life, and the way they've managed her, everything balances up and keeps together. Her lines are really good. You know, if I were to be very, very critical of her, I think she's going to be a little coarser in her udder than ideal, but her teats are just a notch longer, especially up front. That's a big, broody, sound-moving female that's got a lot of quality to her. Female in second, fits nice. Another one that's very sound. She's neat in her neck. Doesn't have quite the broodiness through the center part of her body. Doesn't lay her tail head right out at the end of her spine and square up as well as young lady's heifer that's going to win. But a good one. She's a little more refined in her teat structure at this stage of her life. And again, composition's good. Very, very sharp through her front end. Very thick-ended, very muscular July coming to the next. We probably need to see just a little more calf in her belly at this stage of her life. And she's a female that's maybe just a little rounder, but she's extremely thick and certainly got a tremendous amount of bone to her. Nice trio of females. Thank you.
Placing first in that class, entry 1095, Boy Brandy Wine, D692, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan from Iowa. Second place, entry 1097, CMCC Dangirl 6029, exhibited by Ace McHatton from Oklahoma. And placing third, entry 1098, CPC Whiskey's Desire, exhibited by Mac Amick from Texas. We're now selecting our Division 7 champion and reserve champion senior yearling females. These champion awards are sponsored by Jones Cattle Company and Bar R Cattle Company. After this will be Class 94, our final class of the day.
Well, another good division. These come in twos, not as many of them as we might expect, but the quality continues to be strong. And I think there's a bit of give and take. I think there's a fairly easy winner, and then a little bit of give and take, and it'll again be a bit of a personal preference. We got one that maybe if you just stand off and look at them is a little more attractive, and you got one to me that's a little more fundamentally sound right at the ground. So bit of give and take. Let's give them all a very nice round of applause, and we'll get you a champion reserve. Thank you.
And your champion Division 7 senior yearling female is entry 1095, Boy Brandy Wine, D692, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan from Iowa. Out of that same class is your Division 7 reserve champion senior yearling. That is entry 1097, CMCC Dangirl 6029, exhibited by Ace McHatton from Oklahoma. Congratulations to Sarah and Ace. We will now move on to our final class of the day, Class 94. Following that, that will be our automatic Division 8 champion cow-calf pair, and then our grand champion drive.
Well, we're going to end up today in our individual classes, and I believe our division just as equally as strong as we started first thing this morning. This is a 2-year-old cow that's really kind of interesting. We've talked, or I have several times over the course of the last couple of days, of where Maine-Anjou cattle fit, and she does some things that I think are really intriguing. She's long-bodied, first of all, and stout in her features, but that's an impressive beast when you stand right in behind her. I mean to tell you, she's big and full from hooks to pins and back into her quarter. Her feet are good. She's very sound in the way that she moves. You know, she's a little bit plain in the lower part of her chest. I'd like to refine her teats just a little bit. As a 2-year-old, I guess if she was a little more older, more mature cow, I'd probably live with that. I would like to refine them just a little bit. But you talk about one that could be fun to kind of do some things with because of her power and the strength of her hip and her rump, and yet has excellent length of body, good feet and legs. You know, the April calf behind her is young. Going to be interesting to see how she goes. She's not necessarily as the biggest, strongest one in this lineup, but I think a good kind of a maid calf that interesting. I mean, just really an interesting cow to win the class. The one here in 2 is good from the side. Her udder's a little more refined. She's really neat through her shoulder and her front end. Not quite as good right through her hip. Not quite as impressive when you stand right behind her and compare to the cow that wins the class. Another really nice uddered cow here in 3, and this chromed up one. The floor of her udder's balanced a little better than either of the 2 right ahead of her. Honestly, she's again a little refined in her bone work. We talked about this calf earlier today. I'd like to change it just a little bit out to her hip and rump and back into her hind leg, but really a good uddered cow that's got some length of body, some longevity built in her as well. So my compliments to them. This is an incredible way to kind of end up here. Let's give them a very, very nice round of applause. Thank you.
And your champion cow-calf pair goes to entry 1108, GCC Whiskey Bay 6235D, ET, exhibited by Colton Sand from Oklahoma. Your reserve champion cow-calf pair goes to entry 1109, Hanar Lady Agnes 605, exhibited by Grayson Belcher from Iowa. And your third place in Class 94 is entry 1111, TVR Scarlet ET, exhibited by Trevor Rybolt from Indiana. Congratulations to our cow-calf pair exhibitors. We will now head in the Grand Champion Maintainer Female Drive. In your Maintainer Female Drive, we've got our champion junior heifer calf, Kennedy Lockhart from Oklahoma, with PKL KJ 836F. Our champion senior heifer calf is Brenna Wilkins from Iowa, with Macy ET. Your champion summer yearling is exhibited by Sarah Sullivan from Iowa, with NMR Mrs. Maternal Sooner ET. Your late spring yearling champion is exhibited by Annie Hare from Iowa. Her heifer is DMP Miss Hadley. Your champion early spring yearling female is exhibited by Riley Rogers with TJSC Brooklyn 299E. Your champion junior yearling is Miss Chloe Van Vliet from Iowa with KMEM Porsche ET. Your champion senior yearling comes to us from Sarah Sullivan from Iowa. Her heifer is Boy Brandy Wine D692. And your champion cow-calf pair exhibited by Colton Sand from Oklahoma. His cow is GCC Whiskey Bay 6235 DET. Our reserve lineup starts with our junior heifer calf, Elizabeth Fleming from Michigan with ELF DSS Lucky's Little Worry. Your reserve senior heifer calf coming out of the second division is exhibitor Matthew Goodner from Oklahoma with KMEM Camellia 7716E. Your reserve summer yearling female is led by Tristan Fields from Oklahoma. Her heifer is TTBR Miss Matt Maid 102E. Your reserve late spring yearling female is exhibited by Hadley Dunklow from Nebraska. Her heifer is WLFF Miss Fran 37E. Reserve in your early spring yearling division was Parker Lockhart of Oklahoma with GCC Miss Broker 7205E ET. And reserve in your junior yearling division was Wyatt Dunklow from Nebraska with Spaghetti Sophie. Your reserve senior yearling went to Ace McHatton from Oklahoma with CMCC Dangirl 6029. And your reserve champion cow-calf pair is exhibited by Grayson Belcher from Iowa with Hanar Lady Agnes 605. Let's put our hands together for all of our champion and reserve champion divisions in the Maintainer Show.
Okay, so before we finish up the grand drive here, we would like Lindsay and Morgan to please come forward into the stage. Lindsay. So on behalf of the board and everyone else here, we would like to sincerely thank you for everything you guys do. You are the glue that holds us together, and your love for this really shines through and makes everyone so excited to be here. So we have a little gift for you guys. And if everyone could please give them a huge round of applause.
Thanks, Taylor, and congratulations to Lindsay Brook and Morgan Wallace and Blake Nelson and the entire crew at the American Maine-Anjou Association. They sure do know how to put on a fiesta. It's been a great week, and I think we also owe a huge round of applause to these junior board members of the American Junior Maine-Anjou Association. They have put on a lot of miles in this ring and made for a very, very efficient show the last few days. So let's give them the big round of applause. They are definitely our future, and I'd say our future is in very good hands with this group of young individuals. So nice job to the board and to the staff at the Maine-Anjou Association and the Chianina Associations for a great, great week here in Grand Island.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is really impressive, and I know it would be. We bring these division winners out here, and you just got to be impressed. And you know, it's just incredible to me. One thing about livestock people, all you got to do is challenge them a little bit. Whether you want a little more muscle, a little more bone, you want them sound, you want them deep, doesn't matter. I've been at this a long time, and we've gone through a multitude of changes over the years, and all it takes is a couple judges to say we got to do this, and lo and behold, it's done, right? And these cattle are incredible. They're my kind. I'm not going to lie to you. They are, and I think you can start right up with the first one early on this morning and build from there on back. And those of you who know me know that most of the time I'm pretty sure of myself when the show's done, when that last division's finished, that I have my champion picked out. But I don't. I don't today, and I don't know if I'm just getting old and not as good as I used to be, or whether they're just good cattle. And I'm going to lean more towards the fact that they're good cattle, because I'm not really very damn old. And I just really like several of the heifers that we have out here. You know, I enjoyed myself the last couple of days. Dear friend Dave Duello, I've known a long, long time, and I was actually talking to someone earlier. If listening to Dave doesn't get you pumped up about the business, nothing will. I mean, he just takes your attention and grabs it, tells you the way it is, and lines them up. And what an incredible, fun time it's been for me to be here with him the last couple of days. We've enjoyed dinner. We don't get to spend as much time together as we once did. So it was good to reminisce, and we had a lot of fun last night. Amy and Dave and I kind of gossiping a little bit, if you will, and sharing some thoughts and ideas. So it's been my pleasure to work with him. I want to echo what Amy said, and the junior board, to Lindsay and Blake and the entire staff, Morgan. It takes an army to kind of get this done, and you got to have somebody that leads the army. And you did it really well, Lindsay. I knew you had to make a little audible yesterday, right? And I think you probably pissed somebody off by doing that, by starting these shows and letting them run concurrently, but I think it worked very well. We took our time where we needed to wait on some exhibitors, but to get done a little early so that some of you folks can get home and we didn't rush things. Dave and I were having a little fun last night, gonna make a bet who could get done quicker. Well, he got done quicker, me, so I guess I'll pay up at some point in time, but that's okay. These are good cattle, and I appreciate it. And you know, the junior board, the things that you do, I've been blessed, right? I'm 55 years old, and I've got to do in my life exactly what I wanted to do. I have a tremendous job, a great staff, and we're getting ready to put one of these on as well, and we know the importance of doing it and showing these folks some support and giving them an opportunity to come out here. Honestly, guys, I talked yesterday about how proud I was of those who showed in the bred known. I'm proud of all of you. I had 2 sons that went through these programs, and my wife and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And as a matter of fact, we wish we had a little of that time back. And so those of you who are parents along the outside, cherish it, support them, do what you got to do. The breeders continue to support them. It's a great program, a great opportunity. There's really nothing more to say, except congratulations, a fantastic set of cattle, presented by a fantastic set of young folks. Let's give them all a very nice round of applause, and we'll get you a top 5.
All right, let's hear it for our judge, Jack Ward. He's an awesome cattleman and an awesome evaluator of these cattle, and he's a pretty great boss, too, at the American Hereford Association. So appreciate his efforts this week. And your grand champion maintainer of the Grand Fiesta is your champion early spring yearling, exhibited by Riley Rogers from Iowa, TJ SJ Brooklyn 299E. Congratulations, Riley. And your reserve grand champion maintainer of the 2018 Grand Fiesta, Also from Iowa is your champion junior yearling, Chloe Van Vliet with KMEM Porsche ET. Congratulations, Chloe. Now we will be selecting 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall. Your 3rd overall is the reserve early spring yearling female exhibited by Parker Lockhart from Oklahoma. His heifer is GCC Miss Broker 7205 EET. And your 4th place overall is your champion summer yearling female exhibited by Sarah Sullivan from Iowa with NMR Mrs. Maternal Sooner ET. And your 5th overall is your senior heifer calf exhibited by Brenna Wilkins from Iowa, and her heifer is Macy E.T. Congratulations to all of our maintainer exhibitors. Nicely done. We'd like to thank everybody who had a part in the Grand Fiesta and wish everyone safe travels home from Grand Island.